The Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga University.
What a pass. Giddy underneath for JRE. The reverse and the rookie-to-rookie action. SGA defended closely by Westbrook. Tough. Step back. Gets up the shot. Banks it in for the lead.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, July 30th. We're brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network, dailythunder.com. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. Got Justin Peabody with me.
Hello, everybody.
We've also got Nick Crane.
We've got the Sunday Scaries.
The Sunday Scaries. Hey, I was thinking about this today. We should be getting NBA schedule in like the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Typically like mid-August.
Yeah.
Coming up.
If you guys had to make a prediction right now, game one, who is it against, and is it home or away?
Wow. Away against the Pelicans.
Okay.
That's fun. I'll say away against the Timberwolves.
Oh, so a repeat from last year.
Mm-hmm. And a rematch of the play-in.
I'm going to say away in San Antonio.
Oh,
TNT.
buddy.
TNT
Yeah.
No chance.
on one of the two opening nights.
Yeah, they're going to get an opening night game.
Oh my
Chet Wemby opening night, baby.
You're a
Well,
monster.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
You're a monster.
Put it down. I'm ready for it. All right. We have a very fun show scheduled for tonight. Maybe one of my favorite podcasts of the year. We've only done this one once so far, but last year was one of my favorites. Excited to do it again. It's right up there with the Bets podcast for me as just like one of my favorite shows we do. We're doing a game called the Headline Game tonight, boys. The way this works is I have come up with a series of headlines that you might see in the Oklahoman, on Thunder Sports Illustrated, dailythunder.com, all these different websites or news publications, Bleacher Report, ESPN, The Athletic, these different headlines of these articles with no context. The way the game works is I read you guys a headline, you react to it, and you tell me that if this was a real headline that appeared next season, what is the context behind it? What does the story say? How is the season progressing? Et cetera, et cetera. Make sense?
Love it.
Yes.
All right. Before we start, though, I got to tell you guys, I went back and I listened to this episode from right around this time last year. It was incredible. I was cracking up.
Were we dead on? Is that what you're
It
getting
was just chef's kiss. Incredible. So before we start the game tonight, as I listened back to that old episode, I wrote down what the headlines were that I created. So I want to read you some of those headlines and you react to them now in hindsight.
This is like our own personal version of Old Takes Exposed.
100%.
Great.
So I want us to just react a little bit to the headline in hindsight.
Okay.
And then I pulled some quotes from that podcast, some reactions from me announcing those headlines. I want you guys to guess who said the quote. For reference, Taylor, Nick, and Kamiar were the three people on that show that I hosted last year. So each quote I read
Okay.
is one of those three guys.
So there's like 70% chance it's Taylor.
That may be accurate.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
the first headline, I just want you guys to react to the headlines now in hindsight. The first one was OKC Thunder get 2 players on all-rookie team.
When was this recorded?
This had to be pre-Chet injury.
It was
right?
pre-Chet injury.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been a very accurate headline had the injury not happened.
It would have, but I think at the time a very optimistic headline.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah.
weren't for sure. Now it's like an obvious one. Back then it was
Right?
like you're thinking Chet, but who's the second? Didn't have any idea Jada was about to be second.
Like, yeah, that was a very gutsy prediction for J-Dub.
All right, the
It
quote
worked out.
that I pulled from this headline. Guess who it is? Quote, the second, so we all assumed that the first guy on the all-rookie team was Chet.
Yep.
Quote, the second one would be, all right, did Sam Presti really knock it out of the park here at 12? Spoiler alert. He knocked it out of the fucking park at 12.
Are you an option?
Yes,
I think you said that.
not me.
I'm gonna say Kamiar.
It was Kamiar.
Wow.
Looking back at that one is fun because we all kind of said something in the similar light of, like, I think J-Dub's going to be okay, but that's bold. Like, he would have had to knock that pick out of the park.
Ding, 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 ding.
Turns out J-Dub's maybe a top 4 guy from last year's draft class.
Easily. I mean,
Top
he went
3.
he went number 2 in some redrafts.
I mean, it's awesome.
Wild.
I think it'd be a better question would be, is he top 4 in the last 2 drafts?
Oh,
Oh, buddy.
love
It's
it.
got some spice.
Next headline was Ousmane Dieng shines in 5th straight start.
If
Mm.
only. For the blue? Is this for the blue?
That may have been one of the quotes.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the quotes. That's not one I wrote down.
Yeah. I mean, would have been
Do you
nice.
think this maybe would have happened if the injuries hadn't mounted up?
Maybe? I think that he's the guy on last year's team that I think greatly benefited from his time on the blue. And I think we got to see a little bit of that in Summer League. I hope to see that continue to progress this next season. He might spend some more time on the blue, and it might do him some more good.
And for reference for our listeners, he started 1 game, the last game of the season.
The quote from this headline was, quote, this headline is from March 29th, 2023, when they're tanking. They've pulled the plug.
I'm going to guess Nick on that quote.
Justin's good at this game.
Jeez.
I think
That-
I've got like a good mental image of everyone's like
Style.
It's like
inflections.
Someone's
as
feel.
Jacob's saying it, he can like hear a voice in his head, and that's what
Uh-huh.
he's going with.
I love it. Okay,
That's
next,
exactly what's happening.
next headline was maybe my favorite one because of all of the crazy takes that came from it. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to give you the headline. You can react a little bit in hindsight, and then I'll give you the quotes. The headline, SGA joins Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul as only All-NBA guards in Thunder history.
Ding, 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 ding.
Was my
I hit this
quote,
headline
no
on the
chance
freaking head.
on Earth?
I hit this headline like right on the head. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of this one.
That's awesome. Because again,
None of
it's
you
kind of
guys
a bold-
believe this was
Yeah.
anywhere close to a reality.
a bold prediction. And when
Bold
you-
doesn't even begin to describe it.
it-
12
and-
months ago, I think.
And when you break down that list of what you just said, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like that's kind of bananas.
It's freaking awesome.
It's
It's
awesome.
really cool. You want some? Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say we were more curious if he'd make an all-star team.
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
You want some of the quotes?
Yes.
Let's hear him.
Okay. As soon as I read this headline, the first quote that came out of anyone's mouth was, this is a Ballsack Sports article.
Kamiar.
Nope.
Taylor.
No.
No? Nick?
Wow.
Nick fired. You're going to
Okay,
learn as
Nick.
we go through this exercise. This was Nick's Mona Lisa. This was maybe the best podcast Nick's ever been on.
Oh geez.
Next quote was, yeah, because he got traded to a contender and only spent part of this season with OKC.
That's Kamiar.
Nope.
Taylor is
That-
yeah.
That is Taylor.
How do you know these, Justin?
Well, we're running out of choices now.
The next one was, if he were to make an All-NBA team, it would probably be third team.
That feels like Kamiar.
That was Taylor. And
What?
then Nick followed it up with, it's not a probably.
Wow. To be fair, that was not hot.
No, not at all.
It's fun to look back at it at hindsight.
Bunch of haters.
Next headline from last year, Clutch City. Darius Baisley scores 9 points off bench in Lakers debut.
So close. Wrong
Yeah.
coast. Well, I guess right coast. I forgot he played for the Suns. I was thinking of
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming. The writing was on the wall.
Yep. The quote for this one, that my favorite one that I pulled, was, quote, Clutch will get him paid. 4 years, $40 million.
That was probably my
That
dumb
feels like
A.
Nick.
That was me.
Jake,
That was me, the
Wow.
dumbass.
Wow.
Not only did he not get paid, he
did
is on
not.
like a double non-guaranteed deal. He's got like 2 trigger dates.
Clutch had to pull some favors.
Next one. Headline was OKC Thunder trades picks and players at deadline to capitalize on successful season.
Ooh.
Mm.
I mean, that was a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they should have.
Maybe they should have. People were ready for it.
The quote for this one. Someone said, Dort favors Trey Mann 3 picks for OG Anunoby.
What was it? Say it again. Dort
Favors Trey Mann and 3 picks.
I thought you said 3 mans.
And 3 mans.
3 mans.
Trey pick and 3 mans.
That was damn near what the Raptors were asking for from teams.
No shit, right?
Right. That's wild. I'm going to guess that feels like Nick.
That is 100% Nick.
Nick loves a good convoluted fake trade.
Nick got
Like
mad.
18 moving people.
Nick got mad on this headline because he said Dort favor Trey Mann and 3 picks is the package. And I said, for who? He was like, why would you ask me who they're trading for? And then he fired off OG Anunoby.
Oh man. Well, then he comes available and they're looking for 3 first rounders and young players and
Not too far off.
The next headline was Thunder make trade deadline trade, look to solidify their worst record in the NBA.
Oh, God.
oh my.
I mean, at this point last season, and even a ways into last season, it felt like that was still a realistic outcome, a realistic scenario where they are pulling every move in the book to tank again. But this was pre-Chet, right? Yeah.
This
like
was the
we were.
pre-Chet
This
entry.
was still a conversation when we thought Chet was playing. Which
I
is
mean,
crazy
I
to
thought they
think
were going
about.
to be pretty bad.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like listening back, we were pretty low. Like they had
I
such
think everybody was.
such a breakout season. The quote from this one was, well, Shea requests a trade and you get future picks and assets back for him.
Who said that?
That's got to be Kamiar.
Nope.
No?
Wait. So, say it again.
The quote to the headline was the Thunder make trade deadline trade, look to solidify worst record in the NBA. The quote somebody had and for that headline was Shea requested a trade and you get future picks and assets back for him.
Oh, so they didn't believe that was going to happen. They said if that were the headline, it would have had to been.
Yeah, that was the headline. This is the context.
Got it. I think any of us would have said that.
My second guess is Nick.
Oh, Justin's losing the mojo. This one was Taylor.
Oh.
Come on now, man.
Come
Next
on.
headline.
Come on now.
Thunder beat Timberwolves to take 2-1 series lead.
Wow.
That's fun. I mean, we did sort of get to see the Thunder play the Timberwolves.
Yeah, a lot of people that was on that show were saying Timberwolves 3rd or 4th seed.
Mm.
Oh man. We thought
Yeah.
the Rudy trade was going to work. Taylor Taylor. Jacob, did you think the Rudy trade was going to work?
Can we have a little tangent real quick? I want you, Jacob, to fire off. I think I know 2 guys on this roster, but the Jacob Niffen, I hate these guys starting 5.
Oh man. Well, your starting front court is Rudy Gobert, Jonathan Isaac.
Okay.
You got Dylan Brooks on there. I'll have to think about who my backcourt is. Is there any
Bays on there? I mean, I know you don't hate,
yeah.
you don't hate Bays. You don't hate the person, but you disliked his.
Put Bays on there.
Okay.
Wow.
We got a big team.
Who's the point guard you dislike the most in this league? Because that's kind of where we're
great
sitting.
question.
Pat Bev? Or are you a Pat Bev guy now?
It might be Dame.
Dame?
Oh my gosh.
It might be Dame.
I love it. I love the spice.
Wow.
All right. So we were all like
Yeah.
very high on Minnesota at this point in the season.
Gross.
One of the quotes that I just loved. So again, the headline was Thunder beat Timberwolves to take 2-1 series lead. Someone said, Rudy Gobert has been played off the floor again.
That's probably me.
That was Komiar. The quote that Nick said was whenever somebody was listing off, they've got Cat, they've got D'Lo, they've got Cat, they've got Gobert, they've got Ant Edwards. Nick said, and they've got D'Lo on the team, and was like very fired up about D'Angelo Russell, which I thought was fun.
Well, it's funny how a year can crater a guy's value. Like,
Yeah.
I know it wasn't great at the start of last season, but we were talking about like Brooklyn D'Lo as this renaissance from the Lakers days, got a max contract. Like, it's
Playing with
quick,
his buddy.
it's a quick fall off, man.
Mhm. Next headline was Chet Holmgren notches triple-double with points, rebounds, blocks. You guys all thought it was going to happen too. Everyone said he's going to have at least one or two triple-doubles.
I mean, that feels like something that could happen this year.
I disagree now.
Oh?
That's like maybe the Chet hype was different last year.
100%.
But like, and I'm sure in the moment, my quote's probably like, hell yeah, book it. This year, if that was another headline, I'm like, no chance. That's tough.
The quote from this one is incredible. I'm going to try to do the voice that this person said this quote in, just because the tone of voice they said it in was so good. Here's the quote, and I think you guys will know who it is right as I start to say it. So the headline was Chet Holmgren notches triple-double with points, rebounds, blocks. And someone said, it was against the Houston Rockets. I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but he's going to make Şengün look like a little boy.
That's me.
100% that's a Nick quote. That's one of my favorite Nick quotes of all time.
Make him look like a little boy. I can't wait for them to play for the first time, and I could either look like a fool or I'm going to look like a fool. There's going to be one game in their career where Şengün dominates Chet, and they're going to pull the tape.
If the first game is Chet just giving Şengün the business, though, I am blasting that soundbite all over the internet. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
That's
so
awesome.
good.
Well done.
I love it.
The last headline was Anthony Davis after Lakers December win. Quote, my bones hurt. This was a JD Silva headline.
That feels right.
Nick said, quote, this might be an actual quote, which I thought was funny. The other JD headline that was really good was Kyrie Irving seen levitating above Brooklyn Bridge.
Packing his bags to go to Dallas.
Right. Wild, man.
He also had one, Jonathan Isaac to miss 2 weeks for book tour, which was really funny.
Jeez.
All right.
Not far
That's
off.
enough. That's enough hindsight quotes. It's time that we move on to the actual headline game. We will do that right on the other side of this break. And we are back. All right, gentlemen, you ready to play some headline games?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be really conscious of what I say now.
No,
Knowing that
fire
receipts
him
are
off,
getting
Nick,
sold.
please. That podcast was so much fun to go back and listen to. Here we go. The first headline, these first ones are all Thunder related. The headline reads, Thin Towers continue to excel for Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, man. I think the context for this one is that Jacob wakes up in a cold sweat and realizes it was all a dream.
That'd be horrible.
I think that the ideal scenario, right, is that there's some kind of magic unlocked between these two freakish long boys that the Thunder have on the roster, whether it's together, whether it's a 1-2 punch like Jacob keeps talking about, where Poku's the bench guy and you just get to have this unique specimen playing in both units, which is crazy. I think it's feels optimistic, but I would not be mad about it.
I said I would be conscious.
Oh boy,
but let's just
we're already breaking it.
I do not think Poku starts day one. But
Ooh. What day does he start, Nick?
Okay, let me continue.
Day 3?
I do think there is a world in which Lou Dort is traded this season, and it slides everybody down. Josh and Dub are not playing like a 3-4; they're playing like a 2-3, and Poku is the starting 4. So just to go, I guess 4 or 5 doesn't really matter. Poku and Chet are the front court, and I think it ends up being super fun.
Wow,
That would be a blast.
that's wild.
They'd average combined 5 blocks a game.
We're gonna get some minutes of it,
Yeah,
regardless, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be my favorite minutes of the season.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. Any more thoughts on this headline?
T-shirt sales through the roof of the uncontested.
Go get your merch.
All right. Headline number 2 reads, Thunder preseason roster cut shines in new home.
Ooh, this could apply to 17 different players. That makes this one fun. I mean, is it?
When you open up the article and you start to read it, who's it talking about?
Yeah.
Where's the new home? How are they excelling?
Ty Washington? Anywhere? Is it? Go ahead.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl
My.
in
Okay.
Minnesota?
Interesting.
How's he gonna find minutes in Minnesota?
That's what I was thinking.
I think that he could be. I've said this before. He was a center in OKC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a center.
Mm-mm.
I think he could play a lot more 4 elsewhere.
That's fair. I was thinking Jeremiah Robinson Earl in Miami.
Miami.
Interesting. Both of those are interesting for very, very different reasons. Interesting that you guys both went JRE. I feel like that's a little bit spicy. A little.
I don't think it's spicy at all.
Well, we'll be pulling this.
What
quote next year.
5? What 5 guys would you like? Would you think are cut before JRE?
I don't know. I don't want to think about that.
Maybe the answer to this headline is Usman Garuba playing in like the Spanish league.
Yes.
Could be.
Usman Garuba on the Shanghai Sharks.
I think the reality is none of the guys that get cut are shining on any team. They're probably 13th men.
That's fair, but that's not what the headline read, Nick.
I know. So maybe your speculation's accurate. Garuba's actually been rumored to be sought after. Is that sought after? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
By teams overseas heading back over. So maybe it is there.
Maybe if this is the headline, it's Trey Mann finding a place where he can spend a lot more time with the ball in his hands.
So I think that's a hot take on getting cut.
I'm saying I agree. But if this headline comes,
but we're gonna rip the audio next year.
Yes, of course. If this headline comes true of what Jacob was just saying of who's getting cut that could shine in a new home, it could be Trey Mann. If he gets cut, it's an if, but if like a different situation, different opportunity, we've seen him shine. We know he can. I think that could be who it is.
Any other thoughts on this one?
What about JRE to Golden State?
I was thinking about Golden State and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Phoenix.
2 teams that need some bodies.
Yeah.
All right, next headline. Number 3. It reads, Thunder coach Daignault on second-year wing. Quote, he's made the leap.
Usman Jang. I know you guys are thinking Dub.
Or are we?
Oh, maybe I'm not alone. I think a leap for Dub would be like, holy shit, this guy's an all-star.
Yeah.
Which is also possible.
If that's the headline and that's the context,
yes,
sign me up.
No, it's. I mean, but like truly, like for
Make
him
that
to
the headline.
for him to make a leap, it would have to be
Big.
remarkable.
Yep.
You know,
He came in leaping.
right. I think this is an obvious Oos one, and I think this will be a real headline. Like of the three we've talked about so far, this one feels like this will happen.
I hope. I'm with you. I think it's an Oos headline if this comes to fruition. I hope he takes a leap. He made the leap. Doesn't feel like a very Daignault-esque thing to say. He seems like he would downplay things. So if this is the headline, it would have to be like a holy shit. Like Ooze is awesome. Like he's killing it.
That was my thought making the headline.
To get that kind of praise, I think would be a big jump. So that would be extremely exciting if you hear something like that. He'd have
If that quote is about Oos, Justin, how many minutes is he playing?
20. He's got to have a stretch. Not saying the whole season, but like a stretch of like 20 games, putting up like double figures and like good numbers, playing good defense, and just looking like the game has slowed down. I feel like that's kind of the thing we keep coming back to, like feeling more comfortable thinking or playing, not thinking. That's what we'd have to see night in, night out.
Or is this a Mark Daignault's quote was last year he struggled with quick decision making. He's made the leap in that respect. And local beat writer cuts the quote down to he's made the leap.
Which beat writer do you think would most misrepresent a quote?
Maybe we should do that on another podcast.
Let's not answer that.
Regardless of which wing this is about, if this quote was real, like we're all feeling incredibly happy.
Yeah.
We're all stoked.
Very exciting.
Any other more thoughts on this one? Okay.
Dude.
Next headline reads, Playoffs in Paycom. Thunder host first round series.
Oh, man. Host. Now we're talking. Now Jacob's writing real fanfic. I think, we were talking about how last year's pod, we were conservative. We were a little down on the Thunder's outlook. We got a comment on a YouTube stream the other day from somebody saying we were the worst Thunder fans because we were not predicting like a massive leap in win totals for next year.
And we didn't say they'd be like top 3 in the West.
Right, exactly. If this comes true, that guy is going to be back on our channel talking some mad noise because he will be absolutely right. The Thunder will be top 4 in the West. Wild. I mean, it would rival what Oklahoma City 1.0 did, right? The 50 win jump. This would be right up there with that.
Big Mike has a quote from that article. As COVID-23 knocks out half the West,
too soon,
the Thunder jump into hosting a playoff series.
Absurd.
Matt Clarkson says, if this headline is true, then the previous headline was about J-Dub making the leap.
There we go.
Yeah, a lot of these could be intertwined.
Indeed.
Do you have any thoughts on this one, Nick? Thunder hosting a playoff series in Paycom?
It'd be really, really hard. It would have to be a 50-win season at least, right?
Probably.
I think so.
It'd be another season of just blowing expectations out of the water. I mean, I certainly wouldn't count it out, but I think all the above is true, but also this would mean Chet Holmgren is instant baller.
Instant.
Like day one, game one, he's playing the Timberwolves in Justin's example, and he makes Rudy Gobert look like a little boy.
Sacred blue.
I was trying to come up with a headline. I don't think I have one in here like that. Let me look. Yeah, I was trying to come up with one that was like some French word for cooked. And it was going to, whatever that word is, it was going to be that word. Chet Holmgren destroys Rudy Gobert in season opener.
Amazing.
Okay, next headline reads. Oh, I skipped one, so let's go back. Next one is Dagnall inserts second rookie into starting lineup, leads Thunder to another win.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there. Assuming the first rookie here is Chet.
Yes.
Okay.
Could assume. Let me read it one more time. Dagnall inserts second rookie into starting lineup, leads Thunder to another win.
Opening paragraph says, with Josh Giddey or Dub or Shea sidelined for another week, Cason Wallace continues to thrive in his new role.
I think that's a fair bit of context. Hopefully, probably, that doesn't come true. But that could make sense.
Or is it the 29-year-old rookie?
Ooh, I keep forgetting that he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. I think I like that better. I think I like that a lot better. With
So
Shea,
you're confident in Mitchich then?
sure, why not? I mean, at this point, I have no context to base it off of, so let's just go all in. I would say Shea out with a, nagging toenail tendon injury or something that has him out for a game, and Mitchich steps in, that 29-year-old rookie with braces. I love it. Let's do it.
Is this team good enough this year to load manage? Like if the Thunder are playing the Wizards, does Shea sit and Cason or Mitchich gets a start?
Could.
I think the question is not are they good enough, but like, are we already there? Like, are they old enough? Are their bodies beat up enough that we need to? The only guy that I think you could make the argument for.
You probably need to do this for Mitchich.
Touche. I was gonna say Chet. Like I could see
Yeah.
Chet maybe having some of that. Maybe Shea. But anyone else, that just feels disingenuous.
What if this isn't injury related? The insert doesn't say forced to start second rookie.
Forced.
Choosing to insert. What if it's not injury related? How does what does the article say in that case?
Got to be trade related then.
You think so?
I mean, I think we'd all agree, Shea, Josh, Dort, Dub, Chet is a starting lineup. Opening night. If any of those five are demoted for any rookie, I guess you could make the argument like maybe Mitchich works better in the starting lineup and Dort's better off the bench or whatever. But like realistically, if any of those five are demoted to the bench, it's probably not a good sign. Like the team's not playing well.
Yeah.
They got to shake things up. Somebody's vastly underperforming. Dub hits a sophomore wall. Something's going on.
That's fair. Connor has a quote from this article that says, with home court advantage secured for the first round of the playoffs, Thunder rookie Cason Wallace leads Thunder to 54th win of the season.
There you go.
Wow.
There's your non-injury scenario.
I like it.
Love
All
it.
right, let's go on to the next headline, which reads, Trade Deadline Roundup. OKC deals 3 players leading into stretch run of the season.
Wow. 3 players. Are you going to make us name the 3 players?
You tell me, what's the context of this article? Once again, it says, Trade Deadline Roundup. OKC deals 3 players leading into stretch run of the season.
This doesn't sound like a splashy trade, the way this headline is written. Makes me think it's later rotation guys. Maybe they're bringing in a salty vet. And
Could be 3 separate trades.
Couple future picks. Am I gonna do it and say Dort? Is it Dort? Is it Lou Dort? Is it Poku?
Could be.
Just like last summer, the contract situation, not apples to apples, but like Poku's heading into the same situation that Baze was.
Yeah.
If the tea leaves give Presti any indication similar to Baisley, like I could see Poku getting moved.
I think this is Jacob makes a good point. It doesn't have to be one big trade where all three players are traded. I think this headline comes from a trade deadline recap, like looking back at what OKC did on deadline day. And the opening sentence is 3 players and 8 second-round picks later, Oklahoma brings in ...
Who's the ...
Would have to be multiple guys for multiple trades. Goodness gracious.
Did you say 8 second-round picks?
Well, they got 6 for free this offseason, so
Sure.
and we saw what you could get for 5 firsts last year. Like that was the name of the game. I have like a 1 in 300 something chance to get this right.
Yes.
If there's even a trade. But we're gonna go with
there's a chance.
We're gonna go with Jared Vanderbilt.
Oh, I'm liking this.
And we're gonna go with
Ooh.
Okay.
Loading
I
up
dig it.
defensively for the back half of the season.
I'm into it.
Vanderbilt. That'd be a lot of fun.
I am into it.
I
That's
like
fun.
it.
Any other more thoughts on this one, Justin?
I think that it will not be that exciting if it happens. I don't know. It still feels like not the year that Oklahoma City does anything drastic. Even if, like, let's entertain the hypothetical that they're in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference playoff standings come trade deadline, like a real shot at home court advantage. I think even then, just based off of what we've seen from Presti and how we've seen him act, you owe this version of the team to show what they can do. I think he said something similar before. Like, you kind of have to understand what each version of a team can do. This version of a team has never existed. This team looked very, very, very different this year. Like, I would be shocked if anything drastic happened at the trade deadline, regardless of where their record was, because I think you have to see what happens. And then, then you have a reference point. And then next year, whether it's in the offseason or at the trade deadline or somewhere in between, then you can say, okay, we saw what can happen. Let's go figure out how to move up a notch.
I generally agree with you.
Generally.
Next headline reads, Thunder send 2 players to All-Star game for first time since Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
Wow.
Who is it, Justin?
I was going to ask you. Shai Gilgeous, Alexander.
Whoa.
Shai Gilgeous, Alexander, and my heart wants to say Josh Giddey, but I think the Thunder getting like 2 guards in feels, I don't know, optimistic.
They could list Josh as guard / forward.
Yeah, they could.
True. It's less so about the positional and more about like the way they're going to be playing off each other. Like, if they're both playing at an all-star level, like something chaotic has to be happening in Oklahoma City, which it could. Who knows?
Yeah.
J-Dub feels more likely solely for that reason. Like, that would still be insane and would still be something chaotic happening if it's Shai and J-Dub. I think I want to make the prediction that if this happens, if there's a second all-star, it's Chet. And the reason it's Chet is because, like, him and Shai, if Chet's playing at an all-star level, Shai's going to be playing at an all-star level. And if Chet has that capability in his bag this year, like, Shai is going to be benefiting from it and vice versa. Like, I think it feels very symbiotic, whereas the other ones, Giddey and J-Dub, they're going to be, competing a little bit. So that's
I think if the answer to this question is Giddey or Dub, then somebody is shooting 40 or better % from 3.
Yeah. And probably still won't get asked to shoot in the 3-point contest.
True. If it's Josh shooting 40% from 3, averaging like
it's over
19, 8, and 8,
incredible.
kind of has to get in, right? Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like stupid.
I'm going to go Josh. A couple reasons. One, fan voting still makes up more than it should. And I think he's got that Australian fan base that could help a lot.
Yeah, they're probably not voting for Ben Simmons this year.
Probably not. I also think that his impact is louder from a statistical standpoint. Like Dub could go average 21, 6 and 4, and it probably doesn't look or sound as good as 18, 8 and 8 that we keep throwing out, or 28 and 8. I think he's been in the league for an additional year. More players and coaches and media around the league have covered him. Just feels like a guy that could make it. I want to ask a trivia question for Justin, who I know it's a halfway joking, but Chet being the guy. Who was the last rookie to make the All-Star team?
Wow.
I'll give you a hint. There has been 2 since the year 2000.
LeBron. Yeah.
I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
Let me fact check that while you're still guessing.
Okay. My brain is trying to think of like other weird non-rookie rookies.
LeBron did not make it till year 2, and he's made it every year since.
Okay. Blake
One of
Griffin
them-
comes to mind, but I think that's because of the dunk contest.
Blake Griffin was the last one to do it.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
one before him was none other than Yao Ming.
Oh, okay.
Before that, Tim
Nice.
Duncan, Grant Hill, Shaquille O'Neal, and Mutombo was the last one to do it.
I'd put Chet in that pool.
All big.
Can you imagine if Chet was in that
Dude,
class of
unreal.
players?
But Blake Griffin, yet
Yeah.
another player who missed his
That's
first
true.
year due to injury.
That's true. That's a good point.
Nick and I were messaging back and forth about this a little bit. Nick's actually written an article about it. One of the headlines I was going to write was Chet Holmgren breaks rookie record for blocks in a season. And then I was like, is that possible? And so I looked it up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Manute Bol averaged 5 a game his rookie
my
season.
But after him, like, if Chet gets 2.5 a game, he's like
Top 10.
top 10 ever. If he
Wow.
gets 2.5 a game, he's like number 1 in the last decade or two. So
Yeah.
he's a
That's
chance.
crazy.
He'll also be
It'll
chasing
be special. But
Wemby will be in the same camp trying to do that kind of thing.
they both
Right.
might do it, actually.
Yeah.
But Manute Bol, 5 a game as a
That's
rookie.
unreal.
That's insane.
It's nuts.
Can you imagine anybody today averaging 5 a game?
Be nuts.
No.
Like not a rookie, just like anybody playing
Anyone, I
basketball.
know,
right.
I know.
It's
The game has changed though. There's a lot less opportunities.
that's true.
That's
true. It's not
crazy,
just
man.
post ups all the time.
I do wonder, this is one last thought on like the oddity of Chet making an all-star team. Will the fair or unfair constant comparisons with Wemby put a different spotlight on Chet than maybe he would have otherwise?
I definitely think so.
But I think it could be a positive light.
Right? Exactly.
Like it's going to
Mhm.
mostly be Wemby. But if Chet has similar or better stats or impact, it's like,
That becomes the go-to first take segment on
yes.
a Wednesday morning in
yes.
January.
Yeah.
Oh, Chet's got better numbers, but
Yeah.
Wemby's the superstar. Blah, blah. Like people are going to overthink that debate
Mhm,
all day
mhm.
long. But I think it puts a different filter on his season. Could be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
But either way, I think it changes it compared to if he was a rookie last year.
I'll say this: buckle up for the discourse on Twitter that Chet had a whole year in an NBA system and was with the team for 82 games and got to practice and has a leg up. That's going to be 100% a storyline.
Especially
My
if they're-
salty fan bases mostly.
Well, especially if they are both really good,
Yeah.
and that becomes the debate. Like think about the Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah.
Ben
Ben
Simmons,
Simmons,
feud
yep.
with the sweatshirt that had the definition of
Yes.
rookie on it.
Yes.
Like, yeah, we're gonna be there.
I don't want to think about that. Last
It's
headline.
fun, though.
Last headline for the Thunder reads: Chet mate Thunder big man turning heads in first half of season.
Everything we just talked about. If any of that comes even remotely true, then this headline comes true.
What's if Chet is, quote, turning heads for the first half of the season? The context of this article, what's his stat line look like? And what's the Thunder record look like 40 games in?
Wow. I'd say record is less important to this headline. I'd say, they can't be like 10 and 30.
Yeah.
But anything above that is probably still in play for this headline to come to fruition. I'd say stat-wise, like 7 points, 8 boards, 3 blocks.
7 points is low.
My man's gonna eat on the glass and the defensive end, and he's gonna put in 25 points one night and 3 the next.
I could see that. I think his scoring outputs are going to be pretty inconsistent. I'd probably put his points at like 12 and a half, but 7 wouldn't shock me. I'll say that.
So Nick, what's his stat line if he's turning heads 40 games into the season?
13, 7 boards, 2.1 assists,
And the blocks?
2.8, which is top 5 in the league.
I would go something like 12 points, 7 rebounds, an assist and a half, 4.5 stocks. Steals plus blocks combined, 4.5.
Yeah, feels doable.
That'd be like a huge.
That'd be big. That's a robust stat sheet.
It is.
And the thing is, like, I think his stats will be fine, but I think the impact he's going to make is going to be defensively on a lot of things that aren't quantified.
Yeah.
And like, if you told me 40 games in is right after Christmas,
something like that,
around the new year, if you told me going into the calendar year of 2024 that the Thunder were a top 8 defense in the league, like, I'm not batting an eye. That doesn't surprise me.
Not at all.
Like, yeah, it does not surprise me.
It changes. I think it'll look a lot different than it did last year. Even if the statistically it's kind of in the same ballpark, we got to see a little bit at Summer League of just the impact that he has, where a guy thinks twice about going into the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder never had that problem before. It was just kind of like a swarming 5-headed monster before. Now it's like a 4-headed monster with another singular scary monster under the basket all by himself.
Yes. I can't wait for this time next year in the dog days of the summer, and we're dying for basketball and we're watching YouTube highlights and the compilation of plays that are a Chet block on one end that leads to a trail 3 or an alley-oop on the other end.
Yes.
Like, he blocks a shot and ignites the fast break, and Josh pushes it down and goes off glass, and Chet puts it down or something like that. Like, I think it's not going to surprise me when we get those happening pretty frequently.
And that video is 37 minutes long.
I play it every night before I go to bed. Let it like subliminal message into my brain.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we will do some league-wide headlines before we get out of here. And we are back. Gentlemen, let's finish up our headline game by going league-wide. First headline reads, Western Conference sees 3 teams in playoffs who were not there last year.
Ooh.
Do you want a list of playoff teams from last year?
That would be helpful. Are we counting play-in teams as playoff teams or not?
No.
Okay. That helps.
Silly goose.
Silly goose.
All right.
I'll give my 3. And then we can
Shooting from the hip.
The teams from last year, real quick.
Okay.
Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Timberwolves.
I bet we have at least two of the same.
Pelicans, Mavericks, Thunder.
I was definitely going to say Mavs Thunder. I was deciding if I wanted to get spicy and put the Spurs as number 3.
Wow.
Spicy. Just to keep things interesting. New Orleans, the more obvious choice, because they had a pretty good season last year. And if they get more Zion, like, hooray for them. But let's get weird. Say the Spurs get in as the 10th spot in the play-in and pull off a couple upsets to get into the playoffs at the 8th spot.
Wemby averages 6 blocks a game in the play-in.
Yes.
That stats don't actually count.
Like that, yeah, a team that like looks pretty good, not great, but like solid, and then just like has 3 great games in the play-in tournament. That's my prediction. I look forward to revisiting it a year from now.
Connor B, I love your comment on the Mavs. If that happens, we'll be doing a special midseason podcast solo pod by yours truly.
Nick, if the Mavs blow it up, is going to be the meme of the guy like doing the peace sign in front of the grave.
I love that meme.
All right.
So good.
So you guys mentioned New Orleans. I actually have a league-wide New Orleans headline, so let's hit that one. Harden, Zion overcome injury history to lead Pelicans to playoffs.
Wow. James Harden in New Orleans feels like a dangerous combination.
That man is going to get as fat as Zion.
You know,
I just spent a week in New Orleans, and that is not a good place for James.
that is not an unrealistic
That's
It's
what
not
I thought.
possibility at
It's
all.
not.
Like if
No.
the Pelicans want to make a splash and like the Sixers and Harden can't mend the relationship, like
Dyson
C-
Daniels,
CJ
CJ McCollum.
I don't think you include Dyson. I think CJ for Harden is like both teams take it and say goodbye. Like, what else are the Sixers going to get that is going to keep it competitive?
Yeah, that CJ was the main thing I was thinking in a trade coming back to Philly.
I wouldn't give Dyson Daniels in a James Harden trade. Let's be
Yeah.
very clear.
I
Sure,
feel like
Lewis,
this-
see ya, but not Dyson.
I feel like this trade scenario also probably includes like at least one practice fist fight between Harden and Zion, or kerfuffle at the least.
If Zion punches Harden, he might die.
He might die.
Zion's massive.
Yeah,
I think
if-
to imagine
yeah.
like Harden post game midnight at Cafe Dumont, just like shoveling beignets down his face. The powdered sugar all over the beard.
him and Zion just going tit for tat.
Powdered sugar on the beard. Jeez. Rick Ross. I love it.
It's awesome. It could
So what do you guys?
happen.
What's the
It'd be
context of
weird.
this one?
I think you
We
just
just
said
talked
it.
about it.
Crazy,
Like,
crazy trade.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that Zion definitely has to be like the healthiest he's ever been. James has to lay off the beignets when he gets to New Orleans so that he can get a little bit of that pep in his step.
You think it's the beignets in New Orleans he's got to worry about?
No, there are other things that he probably should worry about. He probably has a private spot reserved for him on Bourbon Street. He might already.
What would the Pelicans starting 5 look like if they traded for Harden? Is it like Dyson Daniels, James Harden, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Jonas Valanciunas? Slide
Yeah.
Zion up to 5, play Trey Murphy.
I like I like Herb Jones now. And I did not like him as a rookie because it was like he's old. He should be playing this good at age 24. But what we especially was on that playing game last year, his defense on Shea was like,
Yeah,
that dude's incredible.
that'd be.
I
That'd be a fun lineup.
I think it's the same lineup. It's the Harden, Ingram, Murphy, Zion, Valanciunas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, next headline, league-wide. Sunshine versus Big Apple. both Florida NBA teams match up against both New York teams in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Okay, so
So you can choose. We don't know what you tell us what the context is, but is it Miami versus New York? Is it Miami versus Brooklyn? Is it Orlando versus New York or Orlando versus Brooklyn?
it's Dame's in Brooklyn.
Okay. You think Brooklyn can't make the playoffs as currently constructed?
I do not.
I think they're at least in the play-in.
I do too.
I was going to say, can we count play in this headline?
I was trying to think about this day. Like Wizards suck, Pistons suck, Charlotte sucks.
Pistons will be better than you think.
Charlotte sucks.
Mhm.
You need one more team, and then Orlando, and that puts Orlando in the play-in. I think Orlando can make the play-in this year.
Yeah, but
I could see Brooklyn and Orlando in the play-in pretty easily.
Maybe that's how they get in 7-8.
Yeah,
which means Miami and New York are 1 and 2.
Oh man,
this headline would have to be bonker. Like a lot of things got to happen for this headline.
This is the semifinals after the Miami Heat once again pull off a stunner.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Intern messes up headline. This is actually an MLB headline.
Or an MLS headline.
Yeah, something else besides NBA. Oh man,
It's tough to make those matchups work.
It's really hard.
Mm-hmm. Do big trades go down to make these work?
They have to.
Dame in Brooklyn, you heard it here
Dame in
first.
Brooklyn, you got to have. Gosh, I don't know how. I mean, I guess Orlando would have to be like the sneak into the play in and then get in. But even then, like you're talking about the Knicks being a 1 or 2 seed.
Or they could be playing Brooklyn. It could be Brooklyn at 2, and maybe the Knicks are at 4, and Miami's at 5.
Brooklyn needs more than Dame Lillard to get to 2.
Right. Jacob's all in on the Nets.
Why don't you tell us, Jacob? You built these, so you had to have some kind of.
I don't know. I built them to make you think, Nick.
Oh boy!
But any thought you have to put on this document to talk about, you had to have.
He just wants to be able to pull quotes on you next year. That's
100%. I'm trying.
Take this for a quote.
I don't know what Da Vinci painted after the Mona Lisa, but that's what we're working on right now with you.
That guy put a sock in my mouth.
Next one, last one. Desperate Detroit makes splash for Karl Anthony Towns at trade deadline.
Gross. I hate everything about this.
That's why I made it.
I'll let you start if you hate it.
They got to be shipping out like at least a couple of the 30 big men that they have, right?
Like, if this trade goes down, I think you start getting some serious Troy Weaver think pieces.
I think Troy Weaver is about to be out of a job.
Yeah.
The headline reads "Desperate Detroit."
Right. Good point. Good point. You led the witness with this headline. Detroit doesn't need to be desperate this year. That's not a franchise with long-term vision if they're making desperate moves. And any franchise making a desperate move for Cat is probably not one with a winning vision.
What if we change this to Houston? Desperate Houston.
Then
the headline says Sons of Guns.
Brand.
I was trying to think of a Houston headline, something like
Shingun gets dunked on by Chet.
No, it's going to be something like Dylan Brooks, Kevin Porter Jr. fist fight in locker room, blood everywhere.
Bowl of soup is thrown.
What was his stupid quote in the playoffs? Dylan Brooks.
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear. It's going to be some quote about the bear aimed at KPJ.
I would love it if Dylan Brooks told somebody on the basketball court, "Don't poke the bear," and someone replied, "Yes, chef."
Yes, chef. I knew you were going there.
That'd be incredible. So, what is Detroit trading for Cat? And why is Minnesota doing the deal? The Cat ask out?
Cat asked out.
Is Naz Reid better?
That French guy. Can't believe they gave up what they gave up for him. Tired of playing next to him. Wants to go out on his own and show people that he can still hoop. He's the best 3-point shooting big man ever. I think Detroit, I mean, like you said, they have to give up some bigs. They send Wiseman to Minnesota. I mean, obviously that doesn't get it all done, but like
Duran Hayes.
Wiseman, Duran Hayes.
Gross. None of those get me excited for Minnesota.
Maybe it's a 3-teamer.
Maybe it's a 3-teamer.
Do you hate
Dame to Minnesota?
Justin? Do you hate Minnesota?
Do I hate Minnesota?
No, Justin.
Oh.
Do I hate Minnesota? No, I don't hate.
Do you hate their
Minnesota.
roster?
Currently, yes. I do. I think they have a very definite ceiling, and I think we've seen it for a few seasons in a row.
Yeah.
And they gave up all their assets to get to get that.
Yeah. They made desperate Minnesota makes splashy trade for Rudy Gobert. Like we've seen this headline before.
That's good. That's good.
I think Cat would be really cool in Detroit. I know it's not the cool thing to say right now because everyone...
Cade, Asar,
Ivy,
Cat, whoever.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Beef stew.
What do you think that ceiling is of that team?
I mean, it's a fringe
like for that
play-in
season?
Team like it should be. It's
Detroit. For that season, yeah, I think it's a fringe play-in team. But for the future...
In 3 years, that team could be really damn good.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Except you're paying Karl-Anthony Towns like $60 million in 3 years.
I'm telling you, in 3 years, that's going to be the norm.
That's still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's a certain
Probably
chunk of it.
wrong.
It's a certain chunk of the cap, and it's going to become normal. Remember, 20 mil used to be a big number. Now 20 mil feels like, oh yeah, this guy's 6 man. Let's give him 20 mil.
Right.
I mean, I'm the king of don't judge it by the dollar amount, judge it by the percentage hit to the salary cap.
Yep.
Still, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's the same percent. It's on the escalator. It's the why the deals work the way they do.
Well, whenever the new collective bargain, or not the CBA, but the new TV deal hits, that might be an even lower percentage.
I'm telling you, 60 mil when that deal comes around will not feel. It might feel big, but it's not going to feel like 60 mil.
That's what
because there's some guys that have 70 or 80 by then.
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting. All right, how'd you guys feel about the headline game?
Not great, especially after hearing what I said last year.
Lots of possibilities on the table.
Especially because we frame this as like we don't actually believe half of this, but what if? Like we gotta set the table, and then a year from now, Jacob's gonna flame us again.
Yes.
I wasn't trying to flame you guys. I just thought Nick had the
bangers.
ball sack sports comment and I think I have that audio. You guys talk for a second while I find it.
What do you want to talk about, Justin?
I think that's what's fun about this time of year. Like, there are so many different possibilities. You listen to stuff from this point last year, and the variance was all over the place.
Yeah. I think everybody believes this Thunder team is going to take a step forward. I want to hear your win total for the Thunder.
Oh, okay. We're going straight to predictions, huh?
Yes.
As of right now, I'd put it at 44, 45.
Is Vegas 40, 42 or 44?
I saw Bet Online had it at 44 even. And then there was like 3 or 4 teams at 44.5. Also, pause for a second. Here we go.
Love to challenge Chet at the rim and get their shit thrown.
Yes. That's good.
Give it to me. He's going to block Tari Eason 5 times.
He is going to... This is where I'm going to start getting emotional. He is going to make Şengün look like a little boy.
I definitely remember listening to that pod just because of the way he said little boy.
It's my favorite Nick quote of all time.
Incredible. What's your win total, Nick?
I'm the 500 guy. I think 41 and 41.
40. Yeah, math is hard.
I always say 42 also. I think it's like a weird, like a mental hurdle for me to say
41
42
and
and 42, but it's
Yep.
41 and 41.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here?
I'm going to watch The Bear after this. I think you guys have both
Have you
watched
started it yet, Nick?
I'm on episode 2.
Okay.
I've watched 2 episodes now. I watched one after the Wednesday show, one Thursday night, and then was busy this weekend. So
You got to do it.
Enjoy it.
Masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
I don't feel the. You guys said it was like
You got to get there.
instant anxiety, and I'm like, I don't
No,
feel that
episode
yet.
1 stressed me out.
I didn't feel that.
Interesting. All right.
Maybe it's
We
coming
will
up.
be back with you guys again next Wednesday. Enjoy the beginning of your week. Stay cool out there because it is like as hot as the surface of the sun. In about a month and a half, there is a Thunder Media pickup game happening. We're going to try to get Justin up there to pay off some bets.
Oh, really?
Every time Nick hits a shot, I'm going to say, Nick made him look like a little boy.
Have we given Justin the date yet, or is this his first time?
No,
hearing
this is the first time.
This is
hearing
definitely his
this.
first time hearing
Oh.
about that. We're not going to publicize it on the pod. We'll tell you off the pod, Justin.
Okay.
You guys have a great beginning of your week. We'll talk to you Wednesday. Until then, as always, Thunder up.